Welcome to the Love is Blind reunion episode on the JamEasy Times. I'm your host, JamEasy Cummins. I'm here once again with Hannah Veldhoen.
Hi.
So today we promised you guys a even drunker recap of everything that went on. So we got the tequila on the table, we got the wine ready to go, and we're even going to make a drinking game for you watching at home. Hannah, tell them what we got planned for them today.
Okay, so we want you to get as drunk as we are. So every time I say, yeah, you have to take a sip. And every time Jam turns something into a song, an opportunity for him to sing, you have to take a shot.
Love is Blind reunion.
Yeah, so take a shot.
And a drink, apparently. Yeah.
And we'll join you. We're going to start off with a shot. And don't worry, we've already drank a lot of wine. We just wanted to make sure that this was a celebration.
A celebration of love. Being blind. Or is it? The experiment that we find out is love blind. Well, we're at the reunion episode. We're about to find out. Guys, let's get it.
Oh, good.
Oh.
Yummy.
I thought you were going to say, yeah.
No. I'm going to do it naturally. I don't want to, flood them with yes.
There used to be a rapper that is ad-lib with yeah, you know? Yeah, used to be my favorite word. Now my ice game is superb, so the hoes just be like, burr, burr. I just turned it into a song. Whoops.
Wait, we have to... Oh, God.
I'm not going to turn that much things into a song.
Or
will I?
I'm already drunk. We're trying to get them drunk, not me.
Guys, if you knew who that was, let us know in the comment section. Who's...
yeah.
Wait. Whose ad-lib used to be, yeah, and now it's, brr. Let us know.
Feel free to take another sip every time JamEasy references something that I don't get.
Ooh.
Good one.
Little for the people that are trying to get really fucked up.
A little side game.
Cuts to just puking on the table.
I'm about to.
Okay.
Ugh.
No songs for a bit.
Fuck it. Whatever.
Okay.
We're hilarious.
So here we are at the reunion. Some couples stayed together, some didn't, and we're excited to find out where they all ended up.
Yes. We are.
So let's get it started. The initial...
it's hilarious. No matter what we do, it's hilarious because we're drunk and people want us to be drunk. So just fucking...
So let's get right into it. Now, when it opens up and I see all their outfits, what do you think about their outfits, first of all? Anything stick out to you? Because one thing I noticed is that Shake came casual. Everyone else is dressed up and he's just wearing a black tee.
So what I noticed is nobody has hired a stylist except for Shayna because everyone looked ugly.
Really? You think everyone looked ugly?
Who did you like other than Shayna? She was wearing her little suit and bra or whatever, but everyone I did not like.
Okay, so first I did like Ayanna and Jarrett. They were looking good in a...
They could have looked better though.
What did you...
Way better. They're an attractive couple, and I'm I guess. It was H&M chic, I guess. But, I personally, so Ayanna got braids.
Yeah.
She gained a bit of weight.
I thought the big reveal was going to be that they're pregnant. And
yeah, because she did gain a bit of weight. But I was ooh, she's looking good. Jarrett's looking good. Outfits? Not for me. I didn't like anyone's outfit, except I didn't like anyone's outfit at all. And I thought
Vanessa Lachey, I'm what is this? She wearing a fucking blanket?
A sequin blanket. Yeah. That's what she had on. And everyone else was Jarrett and Ayanna versus Nicole and...
Danielle?
Sorry.
Nick and Danielle.
Nick and Danielle.
Bloods versus Crips.
Exactly! That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah. So here we are at the reunion. We're going to go couple by couple, but a couple of things I noticed right off the top is Shake is really trying to inject himself into all the conversations. And before even anyone gets into anything really too heavy, everyone's already shut the fuck up. Everyone seems annoyed by Shake immediately. Shane is his boy. Shane's his boy. And Shane's do not group me in with whatever you're about to say. Like, I don't want to be a part of this. Everyone's cringing every time Shake says something. And that became a theme of this episode throughout.
Yeah, like, I didn't even get what was going on at first because everyone immediately, like, Shake just breathed and they're like, can you not? And then watching the episode, I was like, okay, I guess he's a bad guy. And then after I was done, all of my friends were just sending me memes about how horrible Shake was. So I was like, okay, like, screw this guy.
The two biggest memes from the reunion episode was stuff about Shake and stuff about Shayna going...
No, she goes like this.
And I posted one myself called Love is Nearsighted. Yeah, that was Shayna.
Yeah. Just this.
Now, as it opens the episode...
But she did that all the time throughout the entire show. But this is the reunion a lot. Okay.
Now, when the episode opens and we're just seeing the singles, well, now they're singles, and then the couples that are left together, between Jared and Ayanna and Danielle and Nick, who gave you more, like, we're happy together vibes when you opened up the episode?
Nick and Danielle.
Really? I thought...
Oh, when the episode opened, Jared and Ayanna.
Yeah. Because I thought they looked really comfortable together. They were pretty cuddled up. And they looked more, like, coupley. Like, I thought when it all opened up, I was like...
Smiles on their faces.
Right.
Very close. Mm-hmm. I agree. When it opened... money on my bets of being on Jared and Ayanna, I was like, great. Amazing. They're doing very well.
Why don't we start off with the shortest love story that we had? Shayna and Kyle. Yeah. Now, when it opens up, they show Shayna professing her love to Shane and, like, talking about that situation. Mm-hmm. And throughout that, Shane is looking, like, so uncomfortable. Like, he's like he's squirming, like, throughout the whole
episode. This is just constant. Shane is like, you know, like, I've taken a little bit too much Adderall. I might be, on the cusp of, like, alcohol overdose. This is Shane's whole thing.
Shane also
this is his personality.
He acts like a 5-year-old that, like, is throwing a temper tantrum. Yep. He's like putting his hands over his head. Like, it's really, like, over the top. I don't understand how even stuff that's light, like, it's like nothing even happened and he's still acting like crazy like that.
Yeah. But the whole time I was trying to figure out, is this, like, a mental illness? Is this drugs? Or, like, could this possibly be his normal personality? I don't see that.
I think he's at least a little bit autistic or he's on drugs.
I don't think he's autistic. I think... so you suggested that he was drunk all the time, or we both kind of thought maybe Adderall, but there's some, like,
always like
exactly perfect. Yeah. So to me, that's very meth, Adderall, speed, like that kind of group of drugs. That's what it seems like to me, because I've never met a human being that behaves like this. Like, it's just bizarre behavior.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So, to me, I'm checking off substance abuse when I look at Shane.
Now, when it goes to Kyle and Shayna, Kyle's kind of calling her out on, like, you used me as a backup plan. Yeah. Like, even Shake kind of chimes in and he's like, you just used him to stay on the show. Mm-hmm. And at that point, like we already said, everyone's so fed up with Shake that they're like, no, you're speaking for other... Because Shake's like, I'm just saying what other people think. And I was thinking that.
Yes, exactly. When he brought that up, and everyone jumped on him, I was like, no, I agree with Shake. I think Shayna was using Kyle to stay on the show. And so I was shocked that everyone was, like, jumping on him and disagreeing with him, because I agreed with him in that moment.
And I did agree with him too, but then they reminded us that Shayna tried to call it off immediately. Shayna did. Yeah. Right when they met up, she's like, I don't think we can do this. And Kyle's like, let's just do the experiment. They go to Mexico. She runs away from him. He comes back to her like, let's just try and keep it going. And she says, no, I can't. He's like, let's just try. She brings him to her family. And then finally she calls it quits. So Kyle kind of accuses her of, like, using him as a backup plan. Like, you're and Shayna says to him, like, are you speaking for me? Like, are you speaking for me? And at first I was like, this girl is being dumb. Like, she definitely was. But then when we're reminded of that, I'm like, you know what? Kyle was kind of he was the one that made this go on longer than it had to.
I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
So I don't even think Shayna needed to apologize when she was like, yeah, you're right, I should, because she kept saying, I should have never said yes. And I'm like, well, that's kind of part of the experiment, is you say yes and you see if it works. So I didn't think she should apologize. I do think she should have said yes. And I think Kyle overreacted by saying, you wasted my time.
Right.
All this other stuff that we'll get to. But, like, yeah, I'm like, Shane was like, oh, yeah, no, I should have never said yes. I'm like, no, say yes. Like, it's a show. Love is blind. That's the whole point. So, do the experiment. So, I think they were a bit too hard on Shayna, and Kyle was, like, a bit too, emotional about the whole thing.
Because when originally she goes, oh, I felt emotionally manipulated by you giving me your mother's ring. And,
yes.
At first I was on his side, but then when he was like, you wasted my time, I'm like, no, you wasted your time.
Yep.
To the point where she's like, oh, I'm not interested in you all, this is done. And he's like, maybe we should try living together.
Yep.
You know what a waste of time that would be? She's already telling you it's not going to work, and you're like, how about we move in together? You know how hard moving is? That's a waste of time. Not only do you have to move in, you also have to move out.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly. From the time that they met in the hallway, she was like, I'm not sure about this engagement. And he was always like, no, we'll move forward. We're bigger than God. Let's move in together.
We're bigger than God.
Yeah. So I in that little altercation, I was like, no, Shayna shouldn't have to apologize for this. I think she did the right thing.
Honestly, at the beginning of the episode, I was Team Kyle, but the more he talked when he started talking about you wasted your time, I'm like, Brady, have some self-awareness.
Yep.
She gave you an out.
Yep.
4 or 5 times.
Completely agree.
Before it finally got called quits. And it was you that was like, let's try. Mm-hmm. She didn't want to sleep with... First of all, she tries to call it off right when you get there. Right when you meet. Then she tries to say, we're not going to sleep in the same bed tonight. Then she leaves Mexico in the middle of the night. Then you come to her and she's telling you again it's not going to work. He's the one that kept pushing for it to work. So
he's like, let's move in together. It's like, no, she's been very clear this entire time that probably this isn't going to work, and I'm going to put God first.
Now, side note, what did you think about Kyle with the nose ring, the hoop ring now?
Yeah, so I noticed that. I was like, okay, so...
Better or worse? Was he better or worse?
Kyle. Honestly, all I was thinking was like, I'm disappointed that you didn't have this on the show. Like, you didn't feel like you could wear this while you were on the show. So I don't know if you were like a little bit of a coward or you got it after. What do you think? You think he got it after?
Yeah.
I think he already had it, but he took it out for the show. But, okay, so Kyle had a huge reveal.
What was his huge reveal?
That he's in love with Deepti.
Oh, yeah, that was interesting. He's like, I just wish I worked harder on Deepti because he wanted... I wish I worked harder. He, like, professed his love for her. I wish I proposed to her. Like, she's... No, but I think that's after him watching the show. I don't think that was him in the moment. Like, because I don't even remember... Unless they left out a whole part of the show. Because when we were watching in the pods... I don't remember them having a connection in the pods.
No, but I
don't remember him having a number 2 at all.
Apparently, they left out 2 entire couples, so it's not unheard of to think that they may have had a storyline. That they left out a storyline. But during the reunion, we find out that Kyle not only thinks Deepti is the perfect woman, but he regrets not proposing to her.
But I do think that, in my opinion, watching it was like he probably saw the way she got treated poorly by Shake, and he's like, man, I should have just went with her. I would have treated her nice. Like, I think that's how I don't think it was like they had such a great connection because it didn't pan over to Deepti and she's like, I love you too. Like,
that's the thing. I was waiting for that because he's like professing his love. He's like, Deepti, and then it like kind of goes to her and she's like not a word out of her.
No, she's like, but fuck atheists at the same time. She loves God too.
Yeah, sure. So everyone but Kyle loves God, unfortunately.
What a loser, yo.
Let this be a lesson.
Yeah. You could have God on your side, and you choose to not.
Exactly. And not only that, but like, if you want to find the one, if you want to prove that love is blind, if you want to have your happily ever after, do you want to be the one atheist that ends up alone? Or part of the multitude of people that find love.
Because to believe that love is blind, to believe that there is that special one, to believe in soulmates, you pretty much have to believe in miracles, to believe in a higher power, to believe in maybe God.
Everyone was saying God bless, except for Kyle.
And he's just sitting there with his hoop in his ring in his nose. Any final thoughts on Kyle and Shayna?
Nope.
All right. Let's move on to one of the couples that did make it to the altar, Nick and Danielle.
Mm-hmm. Fully decked out in blue for
Crippin'
the
it.
Crips.
Yeah. They did a crip walk on stage. It was pretty good. Nick and Danielle, they say that they're blissful. They said everything's good. A lot less arguing now that they're not in that pressure cooker of will you get married or not. They kind of are dealing with each other a little better. They give a little peek into their home life. What do you think about that part?
First, I noted they kept her cat.
They got the cat.
Wow.
The cat's in the family picture. They actually have a painting of them two, the dog, and the cat. Everyone's good. Well, they said that the dog and cat aren't friends yet, but they'll work on it.
And honestly, from the short clip I saw, I think it'll be fine.
Yeah, except for the cat was like, and the dog was like,
yeah, but then Nick and Danielle like, those two, they seemed totally okay with it. It was just a little, right. Like they'll work it out.
Cat stays away from the dog stays away from the cat. They'll figure it out.
Yeah, and so what else did I note? Rock band staying out, not in a closet.
Rock band is staying out, and a lesson for you guys dealing with girls that are, as they say, a little crazy is one of the things that they said has made their marriage good was when she has one of these breakdowns, it's not like she wants him to fix anything.
Yes.
She just wants them to hear. It's not like it's like, what's your problem? Oh, how can we fix that? Because that annoys. It's like, I do not want you to find a solution.
Yeah.
I want you to just hear my problem.
I just want you to listen to me, bitch. That's all we want. So this is a thing. I mean, I do think it's funny that they're just discovering it now because I've heard this about 20 years ago. Men are looking for a solution. Women, we just want to be heard. That's all we want. So it is cute that they're like just, coming upon this now.
Right,
they're like, hey, turns out. And everyone else is like, yeah, we know. But you know what? Glad they got there. They are in couples therapy. And seems to be working because they're doing better than ever. Rock band's staying out. And it looks like Danielle has won in the sense that their apartment is a little messy.
And the dance parties are popping. Apparently, Nick is even getting on the counter. He's like, I'm not going to get on the table. It might break. I'll get on the counter, though.
Not only getting on the counter, but getting on the counter first. She's like, I can't even stop him.
I know. All that stuff about, me and Nick would both be over here not dancing together.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Nick's the first one on the counter. So.
What do you think they're dancing to?
I Kissed a Girl and I Liked It.
Yeah, how does that go?
I kissed a girl and I liked it. So on Nick kissing a girl and liking it, how about we take a shot to love? It's blind. Let's move on to Mal and Sal. Honestly, these two probably treated each other with some of the most love and care of any of the couples, but just didn't have it in the cards to be married or together. I don't know. I don't know how to close that part out, but Mal and Sal treated each other with a lot of love, but they just didn't make it to the altar. And it was one of the surprises after he bought her a mariachi band, and we're thinking it's going to go through for sure. They had beautiful vows for each other. Yeah. And even after they said no, they were still like, we're going to try and make it work. We're going to give it a shot.
Mm-hmm. And they did. So they admitted they did give it a shot, but it didn't work out. There's just no
They said
connection.
they went on one date, right?
One date.
And they're like,
Honestly, I think that's all we kind of predicted. We said they're probably going to try it and it's not going to work because they're not each other's type.
Right. And when they were going through like the recap of what they've been through, one really awkward part was watching the clip of Mal and Jarrett have their little heart-to-heart at the couples or when the couples were all meeting up. Mm-hmm. It was very, what did I say? Awkward.
Yeah.
And Sal was pretty pissed off about it because Jared had come to tell like, oh, I was just joking around.
Yeah.
But then when you actually see the clip, it's like, no, you were straight up trying to steal my wife.
Yeah, and Jared kind of at the reunion was like, yeah, my bad. And Mal at the reunion was like, my bad. But Sal was still a little bit butthurt over the whole thing.
He definitely felt like it was very disrespectful.
Yes,
and
exactly.
it was disrespectful.
He said, you guys are disrespectful. Yeah, and I agree. It was disrespectful.
It was disrespectful.
But also Sal said they argue and he feels unheard. What do you think about that?
I think that happens a lot with guys and dolls. A lot of times a guy tries to say what's his issue with the girl. Like, okay, let's go back to our first episode, or maybe it was our second one, when we were recapping things, and Sal had brought up his initial gripe with her conversation with Jared, and he's trying to say, okay, but what really happened there? Like, is there anything I was supposed to be worried about? And she flipped it into something like, well, you didn't ask me a question about my ring, and he ends up apologizing.
Yeah,
I think that is our best example of him not being heard. He's bringing up a real concern with her and another guy, and she flips it into something that he's apologizing for. That is not being heard.
I completely agree, and in this case, I think it was best case scenario. They both went on their own way. They weren't right for each other. They tried it. It didn't work out.
I don't think either of them is longing for the other person.
No.
Like, oh, I wish that worked out.
Nope.
I wish that worked out. No, they know what it was. The only thing that they're regretting is Sal's kind of like, you treated me a little disrespectfully when you could have not.
And honestly, I don't even think it was that bad. Like, he was like, you shouldn't have had that conversation. I'm like, yeah, but it is still a reality show. It is still Love is Blind. So, you know what, people are gonna, like, it was like day one after the pods. Right. People are gonna talk. Like, he was like, you shouldn't have even, made eye contact.
The conversation shouldn't have gone on that long, but it's like, that is part of the show.
Come on. Like, it should have. I'm happy it did go on that long. So, I think Sal was being a little bit too emotional. I think, and Mallory was like, fair enough. Like, maybe it shouldn't have gone on that long. But I don't think anyone led each other on. They tried. It didn't work.
And during their whole, like, argument about her talking to Jared too long and everything, this is another point where Shake puts his hand up and he's trying to chime in, and everyone was like, shut the fuck up, bro, we don't want to hear from you. But honestly, like, I know we don't like Shake, he's been a dick for certain reasons, but there was times where he's chiming in to, he said himself, I'm asking what everyone at home is thinking, and they're like, no you're not, but he was. There was points where he was. Yeah, there was like
50% of the time, Shake is saying what everyone at home is thinking. Yeah. That's why it is hard.
He's like, I'm real. I'm so real. I know, I'm real. Yes. I keep it 100, bro. I keep it 100.
It's hard to like completely condemn him because 50% of the time I'm like, yes, thank you for bringing that up. But then the other 50% of the time I'm like, you can't say that.
Yeah, I don't like you. You're a bad person. Yeah. So, while we're on the topic of Shake, why not move on to apparently the most hated guy on the show now. When it started off, when this whole Love is Blind season started off, I knew he was going to be hated for his whole, like, oh, are you fat? Can you fit on my shoulders? Can you do this? But I always thought Shane would end up being the most hated guy because of his overall personality and everything. Yeah. But, hey, Shake took the cake. And when Shake took the cake. No, I won't start around.
No.
I won't. Chill, everyone.
On the inside. So, at first I was like, was he that bad? And then Netflix is like, here, let me show you a few clips. And I was like, okay, he was that bad. Right. It was like one after the other. I'm like, ooh, not good.
Oh my God, yeah. And they said that was the watered down version. Apparently the people that were on the show with him heard a lot worse. And I did predict that. I predicted...
Yep.
I did predict that. I predicted that the reason Deepti said no is because she got an inside tip from other people on the show. And that's what she said. She said other girls were saying, and even other guys, she said that Shane even let her know that he was talking mad shit about her. So that was the reason she said no.
So the entire time, because you were predicting this the entire time, like up until this episode, you're like, she's going to see all the footage and be very hurt. And I was like, I don't know, like maybe, it was a bad edit. So apparently it was the best edit because he
It's
was
even
way
worse.
worse off the show. So not only did she hate him for what he said on the show, everyone was giving her like insider information from what he said off the show. And not only that, but he was directly messaging her off the show saying horrible things to her apparently. Everyone hated him.
They said he was DMing her off the show saying things?
She was even saying he was DMing me off the show saying very, like, you know, just insulting things. So...
Did you see how ugly you looked in that episode? Can you understand why I didn't like you?
Exactly.
Is that what he was being like?
Well, it seems that way. From what everyone said, from what Deepti said, it seems that he was just very extremely superficial off the show and just messaging people things that were inflammatory, like statements. So, that being said, you were completely right.
When the hosts and the other cast members were kind of shitting on him for like, you didn't come on here for the right reasons. This is Love is Blind. It's not supposed to be about looks. And Shake brings up, what about a weight discrepancy? Like, how am I supposed to live with that if I fall in love with a girl that is fat?
Yeah.
And I get it.
Not where I thought you were going with that.
Where'd you want to go with that?
I thought we were going to shit on Shake for...
No, but come on now. Like, if you... Come on
That's not the show! I agree with Vanessa and Nick when they're like, why would you even go on Love is Blind if you give a shit about how much people weigh? Like,
because season 1, there wasn't any fat girls. And they just threw a couple in on this season. And they threw a couple in that used to be fat and were offended by you having an opinion of even wanting a girl that wasn't fat. They're like... Oh, what size do I wear? Ew. Oh, can I fit on your shoulder? Ew. It's like...
It's literally called Love is Blind. The whole point is that love is blind and you're just making a connection based on emotions and not anything physical. So the fact that he was like, how much do you weigh? Yeah. What do you look like? Both Nick and Vanessa were very upset with him.
Yeah, and Shake comes up with a new idea. He's like, can we not just be like Love is Blurry? And not Love is Blind? Can we not just look at everyone like how Shayna looks at them and be like this and make it a little blurry? Now, how would Love is Blurry work?
So, I think this is Love is Blurry. Okay. You don't get to know race, but you do get to know, like, in a...
weight?
You know, weight from a certain amount.
35, 24, 26.
Yeah, you get to, like, normally when you see someone, weight is like this, but weight is like this during Love is Blurry.
Ooh, how about, like, you get to see their silhouette?
Yeah, but like, right. but kind of a blurry silhouette. So you're like, is it?
But
like,
you'd be able to know. You'd be able to tell if they're fat. You'd be able to tell if they have.
Or like this, you get to know.
You can tell if they have tits. You can tell how tall the guy is. If that's you can tell what kind of hair. You can tell if the guy was bald.
Oh,
like that, like
good.
silhouette
but
for that.
But you don't get. I like that you don't get to know race.
I did like that Shake's like, hey, every woman here is beautiful. I'm just not attracted to any of you. Except for Vanessa.
And you know
what else was interested? I don't know if you noticed this, but Vanessa called him babe like 4 times. So maybe Vanessa's kind of Vanessa's kind of in on the.
No, there's 2 different types.
Hey babe.
Nope. There's two different types of babes. There's an endearing babe and there's a demeaning babe.
Okay, go.
She was giving him a demeaning babe.
How?
She's like, babe, this is how it is. Oh, she hated Shake. I promise you. When she was calling him babe, it was in a, babe, get your fucking shit together. This is how it is. She hated him.
I think Vanessa Lachey is Vanessa sucking his dick right now, actually.
Completely disagree.
No, I agree. I agree with you. Vanessa definitely hated him, and that's why when he's like, you're the only girl I'm attracted to, and you've been berating me this whole time, and she's like, that's a fucked up relationship, and he's like, bring it on.
But the fact that he, like, why even say that? Oh, the only girl, like, why?
I know, Vanessa's wearing a fucking...
The only girl here I'm attracted to is Vanessa, who's married to Nick Lachey. Like, why? Why even say that? It made me so uncomfortable.
So do you think he did that because that's the only girl he was attracted to, or he was trying to, like, kind of shit on everyone else? Do you think it? Because he seems like the kind of guy that does want to make other people feel bad about himself.
Little column A, little column B. That's what I think.
Is she the best looking girl in the cast?
No.
Who is?
Honestly, I think Mallory.
Okay.
I think Mallory is a natural beauty.
She is. Poor Sal.
Isn't she?
Yeah.
Out of everyone, like, during that reunion, when she came out, I was like, okay. Give me a minute.
I just want to remind everyone that Deepti is not a pretty brown girl. Like, her whole thing about, like, oh, you don't like brown girls, this and that. It's like, no. He doesn't like ugly brown girls. I still believe that if Shake got a brown girl he wanted to fuck, what would have happened is he would have been interested enough to say yes, and she would have rejected him at the altar because he's still a douchebag. His personality sucks. Yes, he is a veterinarian, but what does he want to brag about? Being a fucking DJ? What a loser. Let's move on to our last couple.
He brags about being a DJ?
Throughout the thing, he is a vet, which is a very likable career, and he keeps talking about how, like, I'm a house DJ, like, you know, like, blah, 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 blah.
I didn't know that.
Before we move on, I will say that they did bring up that Shake's own mother was like, you know what? I'm on her side. I'm not on your side. If your own mom is against you, bro, you kind of fucked up. You might be a little bit of an asshole if your own mom's like, I like the girl that you're dissing better than you.
Yeah. There not a single soul was on Shake's side.
No,
unfortunately.
And even when he was making good points, that's the thing. He made himself so hateable.
He did. Yeah, he did. Like, at first I was like, he's making great points, and I was like, I don't think I'm allowed to agree with him.
Shane is his boy. Shane's his boy, and every time Shake talked, he was like, "Oh my god, I don't want to be like." You know how Shane is already over dramatic over everything, but man, he didn't want to be fucking. He didn't want any of Shake's stink on him. He's like, "You be the bad guy. I'm out."
Yep, he wouldn't do it.
Let's move on to Shane, the original bad guy.
Natalie.
So let's move on to the original bad guy, Shane. I hated that motherfucker, but that Shane and Natalie was your pick, Hannah. Wasn't that your pick? Isn't that who you chose to make it to the altar?
I did, and it was painful to see them like this. They had been so strong the entire time, and in this reunion, they revealed that they had tried again. Because the last we saw, things weren't going great. They had broken up, but in the reunion, they revealed that they had tried again, and still, no bueno.
They were on cruise control all the way to the altar, and when we were going into the wedding episode, we really thought nothing could stop them. And then it sucks that this off-camera fight. I wish we saw the fight. We don't really know what started the fight. We don't know how Natalie provoked him. When Shane's very apologetic for how he gave hateful comments to her, but he's also like, but are you going to apologize for your end? How you brought it out in me. And we have no idea how that happened because it was off camera. No. So it is a little disappointing. Hey, Love is Blind. Keep the cameras rolling.
Yeah.
If you're going to have somebody tell somebody, I hate you, and you're the worst thing that ever happened to me, I got to know what happened there.
yeah. Love is blind, but, like, you know, maybe Love just, like, wears sunglasses or something. Like, just let us see.
Maybe Love leaves the mics on at least.
Yes, exactly.
So we can see what the fuck happened there.
Love leads some breadcrumbs towards the fucking gingerbread house. So we don't know what's happened, but we do know that during this reunion, Shane does not want to discuss a single thing. Every question that's pointed at him.
He's literally like holding his head like he's ridiculous. Like Shane, like
please take it away because the entire time I'm like, who is this? Yeah. What is this character? Like, not only would he not answer a single question, he wouldn't even look at the camera. He wouldn't look at his fellow friends and contestants.
Even like, some of the softer questions. Okay, we're skipping ahead a little bit here, but when they ask what Shayna and him, did they have any relationship after, and he's straight up freaking out over it. No, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it. And then Shayna's just sitting there like nothing happened.
Yeah,
we had no romantic connection. I met up with you as friends in a group setting, and that's the only time we saw each other since the thing. And Shane is like, please don't ask about that. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about it. What the fuck is wrong with this guy, yo?
So, to the point...
Did they fuck in private? Do you think they fucked in private? Or do you think he's just freaking out?
No, I think he's just on some kind of cocktail of drugs that we don't know about. Because
to me, that made me think, I'm like, they fucked. And And Shayna is playing it like they didn't. And Shayna is like, please do not bring this up.
I completely think that they have not fucked. I think Shane's on something. Personally, my guess is a mix of Adderall and booze. I don't know if that's right, but a little look at the jaw.
The jaw is very
like grinding the jaw while stumbling up steps. That's liquor and Ritalin.
Right.
So that's what I personally think for Shane. And Shayna is like, yeah, we talked once, but it was nothing. And when
Shayna's looking at him like, why are you freaking out like this? I've been thinking
that the entire time, though. Every time Shane does anything, I'm like, why are you freaking out like this? And Shayna, they're like, so did you guys meet up? And he's like, I won't say. And he's like,
Please, can we not talk about this? Please, can we talk about this?
Like, muscular spasm.
I don't want to talk about this.
And Shane is like, I'll talk about it. We met up once and nothing happened. So,
I realized what a fucking loser this guy was. I have no romantic feelings for him. No matter how much he believes in God.
Yeah, exactly. I completely believe what Shayna said. I think they did meet up once. I think nothing happened because he has some physiological issues to work out.
Because she never really had to sit down with him in person until, once on the beach, but now if she had like a one-on-one actual time to have like
I think
a
she
date.
Did. Yeah.
So Shane and Natalie did appear to give it an attempt after, but I guess Natalie just couldn't let go of how hateful that night was. That's why I'm like, fuck, I wish we had a recording of how this really was, because Natalie's like, oh, we tried a little bit, but it was too soon. I couldn't stop thinking about like how much he said hateful stuff towards me.
And I was so happy for Natalie for staying strong, because I think she made the right decision.
How about we finish off with another married couple that we got, Jared and Ayanna, and they do look the most happy and in love to me. How about you?
Well, I noticed they were wearing all blue. Contrast.
Wrong, red. Nick and Danielle was blue. They were the Bloods.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
First of all, Ayanna has hair now. Whoa.
Yeah, but did you like it? Because she seems to have gained a little weight and gotten braids, and honestly, loved it all.
So the whole episode, I really thought Ayanna, the big reveal was going to be she's pregnant. I really did, because no offense, Ayanna, you got a little fat.
So I didn't think that at all. I just thought the big reveal was she was going to be happy in love, which I was correct.
No, but the big reveal was they did fuck in Mexico, which made me think she was pregnant, because they were like, oh, you guys were very private about like if you had sex before marriage. They're like, well, we kind of just fucked in Mexico. It was one time, and then I'm like, okay, so you're pregnant now with your...
No, didn't think that, but I did think that they were like, ooh, we're happy in love. We're going to reveal that we've been fucking this whole time, which they did. They were looking a little bit comfortable. So, was it good? Was it bad? Ayanna had braids, a little bit more plump in the face. What did you think, Jam?
Well, I thought, you know what, Jared, he's like, I wish this girl would come out more with me, but then he realized when she comes out with more with me, she drinks and eats more. I honestly think that Jared is happy that she's going out with more. They look really in love. They look like they're having more fun together.
She looked more mature, so I think that, because that was his whole thing, you're a little bit young, you're 22, and she was like, fine, I'll get braids, I'll gain some weight, I'll eat a few chicken wings with you. And he
go out with the boys for a couple half-price wings.
I'll put a little money on the UFC fight.
You know what? We're going to get a picture. I'm going to have a glass too.
Yeah. And then he was like, not quite what I meant, but here we are.
I really just wanted to go out with my boys. But I will say this. They said Jared is staying home more often and Ayanna is coming out more often. So I think they're meeting in the middle and having a nice little marriage there.
Well, meeting in the middle, or were they putting on a show for TV? Because they also said this was the hardest thing they've ever done. They said no one even knows what this is like. And it seemed like maybe he wasn't being a good boy. That's the impression I got from the reunion.
I didn't get that.
Because I got that from, like...
You think he's cheating on her and stuff? Is that what you think?
No. I don't think he's cheating on her. I think that he still wants to party. He still wants to go out. And all of a sudden, he's like, why did I get married? That's what I think.
The hardest thing they ever done, eh? The hardest thing they ever done.
Because they kept on talking about how hard it was, how he was trying his best, but they were kind of like, ha, ha, ha.
You know the hardest thing Nick Lachey ever did, right?
Pretend he was
It's the hardest thing I ever had to do, to look you in the eyes. Oh, that's going in for sure. That's going in for sure. So Ayanna and Jarrett, was there anything left to say about them?
So Ayanna and Jarrett, they really, do you think they're gonna make it?
My prediction is they will get pregnant, have a baby. My prediction, this is my real prediction.
Okay, sorry.
All right, my real prediction is they will get pregnant, they will have a baby, and eventually Jarrett is going to go out too much and not be enough of a good father because, Jarrett and Ayanna, if you're asking me what their prediction is going to be, well, I do think they're going to have a little happy life together. They are going to get pregnant, but I don't know if Jarrett will be able to slow the partying down. And maybe when it becomes to fatherhood, that might weigh a little bit different on Ayanna. Being an adopted kid at 22, an adopted child at 22 years old, she might have a little higher expectations for him as a father that he might not live up to. And that might be the end of them. Or they'll live happily ever after. Who knows? How about you? What do you think?
The fuck? So I actually, I agree. I think for a little while they may power through. Maybe they'll even get pregnant. I don't know. But at some point, it was alluded to that he was still picking up the streets call when they...
Streets are calling it. He's still picking up.
Yeah, he saw...
He's like, hello, streets? Is that you?
Yeah. Well, he knew. He saw, a caller ID. It said the streets, and he was like... It's still picked up.
He's like, oh, I gotta get this in the other room. He's like,
yes.
babe, I gotta take this in the other room.
And she's like, who is it? He's like, I don't, sorry. And then took it in the other room. That's what I got. So,
out of the remaining couples that did make it, Jarrett and Ayanna versus Nick and Danielle, who do you think is gonna have a better chance at making it all the way to the fucking grave?
I hate to say it, but your pick, Nick and Danielle.
Really, eh?
Yes, because they all of a sudden, because they were butting heads, and then as soon as all the problems went away, they were like, oh, why don't we just be boring together and live together as, white people that do puzzles and play Rock Band. And good for them, by all means. Go for it. Is it exciting to watch? No. But will it last? Yes. Whereas Jarrett and Ayanna, I think at a certain point, they're both going to be like, wait, we were just doing this show to become famous, to have fun.
Okay.
We didn't actually want to
Now, that's an interesting point that you bring
married.
Up. If you had to follow any of these two people for a reality show, left on the show, any of these two people, not whether they made it or not, who would you follow? Who would you follow along with their story?
I would be so happy to follow along with Shane and Natalie. Not for Natalie, but just to see where Shane's...
Shane's tripping out.
Just to see Shane's obvious battle with addiction. I would love to see when he finally checks himself into NA, Narcotics Anonymous, and comes face to face with the fact that he hasn't been sober for many years.
I would love to see Shake just run through a bunch of white girls and find out nobody really likes him anyways because he's a shit person. And then find out that it's like, okay. Actually, let's backtrack on this because when Deepti was like. We didn't talk about this earlier. I had it in my notes. I forgot to talk about it. But when Deep and Shake were talking about the whole him being really mean to her on and off camera, whether we saw it or not, like they said it was the watered down version. And then Deep's like, there's a way to say that you're not attracted to me with, not attract. She said, I don't care if you're not attracted to me, but the way you did it was gross. Mm-hmm. What is the right way to say you're unattracted to a girl?
I think being very upfront from the very beginning is a great policy, which he wasn't. Okay. And so in the sense that he didn't sleep with her, that's good. But in the sense that he kept it going right up until the wedding, not good. I think at some point he should have said, like, it's very obvious that this isn't going to go anywhere. I'm going to walk away. It
is nice that her friends gave her a shout out, though, that to be like, you have to be the one that says no first, because he thinks you're gross.
Yeah, so, I mean, how amazing that she got that moment, and that so it was so clear during the reunion that he was, like, playing a character, and that he was only just, like, being the villain for the sake of, like, getting more camera time. But, I don't think that he really should have done anything differently.
He shouldn't have done anything differently.
No, he was just being, the Netflix villain for Love is Blind.
I know. We all felt like Shane was going to be the villain, but maybe the fact that Shane and Natalie were actually working out so well, they're like, we need to make someone else the villain. And they made it Shake.
It wasn't like it was too horrible.
Now, Deepti's final thought on the show was, you know what? I didn't find my love, but I made some of the best friends of my life. And Shake's final thought was, hey, Love is Blind ain't for me. I'm more of a love is, you need to see that girl.
Love is body mass index. Like love has exact.
Love is how much you weigh. How much you weigh. Do you have any scars on your face?
Yeah, love is step on the scale and let me know when you're gonna hit your ideal body weight.
Love is what does your mom look like? Because I actually want to know what you look like when you age as well. So. Turns out, love is blind. That's it. No. All right. So, you come to the end of the episode. Love is blind. The experiment did work for two couples, at least. We have Nick and Danielle. They seem to be off to the races. Ayanna and Jarrett, they're in love. They're having a good time. Mm-hmm. And, maybe even Kyle and Deepti are ready to fuck, yo. Maybe. Kyle's down. I love Deepti's down.
Yeah, I can only hope that there's a little, relationship blossoming there. It did seem like Kyle was like about to propose to her, and Deepti was like, "That's nice."
It seems like Kyle's down for whatever lands on his plate, and Deepti's like, "Not you, bud."
Kyle put a nose ring in, and he's ready for whatever falls his way. Unfortunately, Deepti was like, seen it before, not for me.
Deepti was not interested. But do you think the experiment works overall? Love is Blind, we got in 2 seasons now. I think from the first season, we did have a couple couples work out. Mm-hmm. This season, so I don't know if you noticed this, but the married couples have been together over a year now because they filmed it, I guess, a year ago. And
wow.
Nick and Danielle, Jared and Ayanna, they have made it through a year of marriage and they're going strong. They both seem happy. They don't seem to be having anything that's like gonna break them apart. They're like, yeah, we're going through regular things as any married couples do. We're learning how each other work. Nick's learning that Danielle, when she has a problem, she doesn't want it to be fixed. She just wants to be heard. Ayanna and Jared are learning, Ayanna, go out a little more. Jarrett, stay home a little more, and we'll meet in the middle. And I think they are kind of learning how each other work, and they're learning to love each other as a married couple. Who's gonna get pregnant first? Bet.
For sure, Nick and Danielle.
Okay, I'll bet Jared and Ayanna.
Really?
Experiment worked. Love is blind. Thank you.
The end.
Turns out, love is blind. All right, how do you want to end it off? So after all we've learned... Wait. All right. So, we had 6 couples. 2 of them made it. Love is blind for at least 2 of them. And I look forward to the next season to find out if love is blind once again.
Honestly, I think 2 seasons have proved that love is not blind. Love might be like, need glasses at best. Everyone that's ended up together, it's like, I could have I could have called that before this whole experiment started. But thank you for participating.
The makeups, the breakups.
And go.
So for all we saw this season, the makeups, the breakups, the people that were taking love as not blind, the people that were seeing love... No, I don't know. Wow. What a great season of Love is Blind, Season 2. We did find out that the experiment can work for some and not for others. But you know what can work? These recaps with me and Hannah Veldhoen for you watching at home. Am I right, fellas and ladies?
You sure are. And honestly, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate all your feedback. Keep watching because there's great things to come between JamEasy and myself, Hannah Veldhoen. In fact, Netflix has done a little teaser of their new show. It might be called The Ultimatum. It might be called something else. Honestly, we don't really give a fuck. But if you guys want to see us recap it, then... boy, will we.
Let us know in the comment section if there's a dating show that you want us to recap. If you think that this team chemistry here, just getting drunk and recapping shit, is something that you want to see more of, please let us know.
Please let us know.
Please.
We beg you.
Please tell us that somebody's watching. Please tell us that somebody's watching and caring about this thing. You can find me at jam_easy. And where can they find you?
They can find me at hannah.veldhoen.
Yeah, and you can find love. Well,
where
I'll tell you where you can find it. With your eyes closed. Because love is blind, motherfucker!